to raise families.
Hello and welcome to Central Methodist University Coffee Chat. I'm Dr. Joe Parisi, Vice President for Enrollment Management. We're here at Columbia Public Schools today, District Office, with special guests Fernando Jimenez and Dr. Peter Stiepleman. Welcome, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Dr. Stiepleman, give us a little background on the Columbia edX program.
Thanks, Joe. I really appreciate the opportunity to be here
On the Columbia.
first day. Joe, I really appreciate the opportunity.
Background.
So this actually started a number of the maybe about 4 or 5 years ago. Well, we kept asking ourselves, about 40% of our students in the public schools identify students of schools. Only 14% of our teachers identify as students of color. We want teachers who look like our kids, not exclusively, but as a way to sort of diversify. I think if you look at any organization, Columbia Public Schools is the third largest one here in Columbia. So we have 3,000 employees, 1,500 teachers. And so you would imagine any organization really wants to have a diversity of experiences, diversity in terms of racial, ethnic background, all those kinds of things, because it makes us better. So we brought together an unlikely group of partners, which is everybody from those who are your critical friends in the community to those who are your biggest supporters, right? To say, if we were to establish a pipeline of locally educated, highly effective, culturally competent teachers, what might that look like? And from the very beginning, Central Methodist was one of those schools that said, well, we've got to engage one of our partners in Fayette.
I love it. I mean, the concept there. Talk a little bit about what does this mean, having a homegrown teacher? What are the advantages for the district?
So if you were to talk to the Department of Elementary and Secondary Education, they'll give you a statistic, something like nearly 70% of teachers grew up 20 miles from, they're teaching 20 miles from where they grew up. That's an astounding statistic. So Columbia, which has a challenge sometimes because we don't have a hard time finding teachers, it's being able to retain them. Sure. We're almost sometimes considered like, I hate to say it, like the AAA team for a major league team. And the reason why is 50% of our teachers have been teaching for 10 years or less. So as they begin to raise families, they go back to St. Louis, they go back to Kansas City, they go back to Kirksville or Springfield or one of their hometowns, somewhere in the state. And so for us, what we're saying is, well, why wouldn't we be doing the same thing? Why can't we have a locally educated pipeline where it is more likely than not that they'll start teaching here and then stay here, and they have their community here, they have their church here, they have everyone who is rallying around them here. And so that became a rallying cry for us. How do we create this locally educated pipeline?
It's such an amazing opportunity. I mean, when you first came and talked about and presented this program, and it's something that certainly is very, very near and dear to our president's heart, something that's near and dear to my heart.
That was the easiest meeting I've ever had. I mean, for those who may be watching, to know that I was like all nervous, right? And I came to meet with you, and you're like, calm down, it's gonna be fine, And I started talking to President Drake, and he says, just make your ask, right? And I said, would you? Yes. Oh my God, that's like any development person's dream, right? I mean, it was clear that for the two of you, that this was super important to be thinking about a first-generation college student who could come to Central Methodist on a full scholarship for the noblest profession that's out there. I'm biased, obviously. And to say, we're going to help you. We're here to support you. And then you get to be a teacher in the Columbia Public Schools. And to have children be able to look up at their teachers and to see a variety of experiences and backgrounds as a way to help them be prepared for life. I mean, that's what really we're talking about, right? The kids are ready for life, and that means you're going to have to negotiate and interact with lots of people from all over the world. What better way to do that than this program?
Yeah, I mean, we often use the motto, we find good people through good people. Mm-hmm. This is a win-win scenario. You've done an amazing job with the district. This is just another example of a feather in the cap for the district to do something of this magnitude, to involve students, to get them thinking about their future at a younger age, thinking about what's the finish line look like for me? What does the finish line look like when I do graduate and take on an opportunity in higher education? And this is a great example for that. Certainly, Fernando, you are another awesome example of this program. I have to brag on you a little bit. Fernando was our freshman GPA, highest GPA for the freshman class this year, and received an award at our freshman honors convocation this year.
That is so exciting.
So talk a little bit about your feelings on that award and your feelings toward the program.
Well, this program has given me like such an opportunity to just know a lot about myself and how, you know, I can achieve so much that I, like a few years back in high school, I didn't think I could achieve, you know. And this award shows so much, you know, and it just gives you more like such a more positive attitude to meet that goal, you know, like
Sure.
make it bigger, you know. Yeah.
Do you think you developed? Talk a little bit about your teaching philosophy. You've had a lot of experiences as a student. You're having student experiences in the classroom now and the university level. Are you working on developing that teaching philosophy for you as an educator?
Yeah, there are still some things that I, you know, do not know yet. I have picked up some stuff from working over the summer for the internships and field experiences at Central Methodist.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, seeing the students and learning from like different philosophers in class have definitely taught me that children need like to be stimulated in their, you know, other developments like social, cognitive, physical. And I think I could do that by, you know, just involving them more in the class, not just having them sit on the carpet and me speaking, you know, stuff like that are things that I believe that I could bring to the teaching. Yeah.
Well, this is something that's special, and Dr. Stiepleman mentioned this in his earlier discussion, that you're coming home, right? Columbia's home. You're coming back home when you do receive this degree and giving back to the community that you were not only raised in, but certainly have been developed in. What does that mean for you?
It's just a more sense of community here. I can have, I'm in the district where all the teachers that I loved and helped me so much, I can reach out to them. I'm going to be on like the same email as them, so I can just, you know, email them and ask them for advice, questions, you know, instead of going to another district and not having, you know, that big of a community to where I can like feel comfortable asking them for help. And, you know, just watching my, like, I would say my Hispanic community every day coming into my classroom and asking for help, because I think I could be a greater help for them, you know.
Absolutely.
But just everyone in general.
Dr. Stiepleman, final thoughts on the edX program and
many
Fernando.
thoughts after hearing Fernando talk. Isn't he just an excellent example of what it means to be an Eagle?
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
We're very proud of him.
Super excited, and I was so glad you mentioned his honor in terms of his GPA. We celebrated that here. In fact, he mentioned one of his teachers who could not be more excited. Leslie Aguilar teaches over at Battle High School, and I would say that she was like your school mom.
Yeah, for sure.
And so, what an exciting accomplishment! It's not easy to get a high grade over at Central Methodist, so to do it is wonderful. So, I guess one of my last thoughts would be, first of all, also. It was super excited to hear him talk about the social and emotional needs of children, not just cognitively engaging them in terms of the curriculum, but really understanding the whole child.
Absolutely.
So clearly that's a strength of your program.
Mm-hmm.
What parents want more than anything is a nurturing environment for their children, and they want high quality teachers. And clearly the program that you have produces that, so that's exciting. I guess the last thing I would say is the fact that we use a phrase here called "we are one." It just means that we do this work together, that not any one of us can do this work alone. And what a great example of we are one right here, whether it be Fayette and Columbia working together to produce great teachers for mid-Missouri. I'm so excited to be a part of it. Thank you, Joe.
There's no doubt. You guys have done an amazing job, Fernando. You got great things ahead. Keep up the great work.
Yeah, seriously.
Thank you both for your time today. Really appreciate it. That's all we have, folks. Dr. Joe Parisi signing off with Coffee Chat. We'll see you next week.